Well, we are here today to create the introductory video for the arts module of our online training course. And I've got Liviu Mocan, who's a great friend of the last 16, 17 years from Romania, to talk with us about his life and work as a Christian in the arts. So you have a wonderful way of presenting yourself through a kind of a credo, which is I've seen you say before, and it's a good introduction. Do you want to introduce yourself in that way?
I would be glad, but before that I want to greet you, Jonathan.
Thanks.
And also to greet the Jubilee Centre. I am so honored and happy to be here with you guys, because I very much appreciate what you are and what you do.
Thank you.
About my credo, I tried in different ways to express it, and one of the ways that you remember is this: I am happy to be a sculptor. The whole universe is a gallery with sculptures. I start working when my hands touch the marble or the granite or the wood. When my hands deepen in soft clay, I touch God's hands. God's hands are there, waiting for me. I feel them. I try to understand. I try to listen. This is how, resculpting his sculptures, I tie myself day by day by the universe. This is how, resculpting his sculptures, I understand day by day how inadequate I am. I am a sculptor, but much, much, much more than that. I am a sculpture. I was named Liviu Mocan.
Yeah, that's great. That's a lovely way to introduce the amazing connection between your faith and your work as an artist. And I don't know if there's one or two other things you want to say about how you bring together your faith and your work as a sculptor.
First, talking about this kind of things, we need to start from God down, not from us up. So God is beautiful. God is the infinite beauty. How can we know that? Because we don't see Him. Nobody saw God than Jesus Christ. We can see this easily through His creation. Because His creation is absolutely beautiful. It's no limit beautiful. It's infinite beautiful. Why? Because the creation is into His image. This is why He specifically said, when He created us humans, let's create them into our image. Because each person, whatever that person does, is a reflection of what he or she is. The creation, the character, the values, the worldview, the feelings, the understandings, the convictions, everything that belong there to the inside come out into creation. So, first of all, God is the infinite beauty. I am one of his creations. What a privilege to be created by that kind of creator that creates from nothing. He just says, be, and it comes. And what we are, the artists, we are not creators per se. God is the creator per se, from doing things from nothing. In fact, what we do is to recreate, to remold his creation. We take a beautiful piece of stone and we do something out of it that is not as beauty as it was before we sculptors touch it. Or we take a log that is so beautiful, you know, an oak or a cedar, that is a fantastic sculpture made by the creator. And what we do, we remold it, we do something out of that. So the conclusion of this is that my status is to be God's creation, God's Son, and that gives me the value. My profession, my preoccupation is an echo of my status. I am an artist because I am similar in this aspect with my daddy.
That's great. I wonder if now, Liviu, you can talk a bit more generally and say, why should Christians care about the arts as a whole?
If we really want to be like our Father, he is the greatest possible lover of beauty. So we would love beauty. In fact, beauty is one of the basic needs of humankind. Truth, beauty, justice are inner needs because we are built inside like God. So first reason why we would his children bother about art is to re-become like him, because we are fallen. And one effect of the fall is the lack of beauty in our behaviors, in our way of dressing, of building our homes, so on. The second reason I see is that that he himself, when he was talking with King David or with Moses before to build the house of God, the tabernacle and then the temple, he asked them specifically to do this building, to create these buildings similar with the things that they are up in heaven. So there, where there is no sin, no ugliness, no shadows, just joy and beauty and light, the tabernacle and the temple should be an image, a reflection of that world in the fallen world. And what is absolutely beautiful is to see in the text about the temple that among all the other, all expressions of art there, sculpturing, paintings, textiles, ferronnery, ceramics, everything was gold, the tables, the altars, everything was so absolutely beautiful. What is amazing is to see a little detail there, that in the walls they were set precious stones,
Yeah.
and the text says, just for beauty.
Yeah.
For beauty.
Yes.
So the sun came with it raises into those stones, that bang, reflected all that light everywhere in the temple. So it was first of all a place of beauty, as heaven is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's certainly a great motivation for every Christian to engage with art. But you're right, you say we're in a fallen world, and the next thing I wanted to ask you about was there's a lot of ugliness in what people create as well as beauty. So how do you make aesthetic judgments? On what basis should we decide that, say, a work of art is good or bad, beautiful or ugly? Is it just subjective, or is there a more objective basis for deciding?
Yeah, I see the question. Please allow me to have a little add to what we were talking before, to the question, about the question why we the Christians would be interested in art. Isn't it a pity that so many Christian churches are absolutely ugly, with a lack of interest for beauty? We meet in sports halls, which is good to do sport is excellent, but to meet with God in such a place without any environment, any expressions of heaven, of beauty, you know, it's a big lack of understanding of God. My church is like that. The building of the church it's nothing.
It's functional.
Yeah, it's just functional. Yeah, and more our churches, unfortunately, do not respect God. They invite God to meet them, to meet us in such ugly places. And when God said, okay, you build a house for me, now look how that has to be. Art all over, beauty all over, the most precious materials, the most precious wood that smells like crazy for hundreds and hundreds of years. So when you got into that space, you had the smell of God. You smelled God because all the five senses were positively affected into those spaces. And today we have no interest even for beauty, for the eyes, no interest for smells. When we come to church to have, I'm talking about Protestant churches, my church, because the Orthodox and Catholic have that wonderful smell. So coming to the other question, Francis Schaeffer, in his splendid little brochure by Art and the Bible, he gives us few characteristics of a good art object. First, the art object has to be excellent from an artistic, professional point of view. Second, to carry the truth. Third, to be sincere, honest, so the artist would let the unique God in him to express outside, not to imitate another artist that is great. So not to imitate God in another expression, but to let God in me that is unique. He's infinite. He has no problem to have millions of expressions in each humankind. He is unique. So be honest, be sincere, let the God in you, the form of God, to get out. And the fourth one is the vehicle, to be to be proper. So to use that way of, that form, that vehicle, that would carry the best, the beauty and the message you have. Now what we Christians generally do is to search first, not for the beauty, when we talk about art, but to search about the message. So if there is a Christian message there, it's not important that it's a good art object or not.
Right.
And this is false. It's completely false. Because in art, the object has to be good art first.
Yeah.
Because good art itself, it's a message.
Yes.
Because what you do as an artist for God, if you believe in God as a Christian, then you will do it as you do it for God, not for money or for your own success or so, your name. So Francis Schaeffer goes very deep in that. He says, we need to appreciate pornographic art. I never watch pornography, I know. But he has a point here. He says, if it's very well done from an artistic point of view, you have to appreciate the artistic quality. Second, you will not watch it and accept it and share it because of the message, which is bad, is very bad. So we as Christians need to value the beauty, but in the same time to be very serious with the message. If it's a God-revealed message, we take that object, we buy it, we expose it, we support it. But if it's beautiful but has a bad message, we are not interested.
You can respect it, but alas,
I respect it, but it's not for me.
The value of it.
Do it.
Yeah. Let's just come to the last point here, and that is, you know, this whole online course is around how our faith and the culture and society kind of talk to each other. And so what would you say could be the role of art in really influencing the wider culture, not just individuals?
My own perspective on that is the one that I see in the life and work of the Lord Jesus Christ. Then when he was elected to be the king of Israel, he ran away alone in the mountain because he did not want to be involved in, this is my perspective, in immediate general changings, but he was interested in changing individuals. So he was an artist, he kept telling stories, he gave, God incarnated, gave to us humanity the truth in forms of stories.
The parables, yeah.
And these little parables, little stories that you, if you want, you take, if you don't want, you don't take, but the truth was there. These little parables influenced in his time and continue to influence in all history different hearts, different people, and they change society. So I don't see Jesus trying to change society in itself, but to influence people that each one of them in their place of life will change society.
And you talked about Michelangelo earlier as someone who really was able to influence the culture of his time through, you know, the exceptional work which he did. And I think perhaps there is an opportunity there for some of the greatest artists that we see today to if their gift and their abilities are dedicated to the glory of God, to have a really significant impact.
Oh yeah. And God gave him an influence for the rest of the history of the
That's
humankind.
right. Yeah, yeah.
In fact,
Great.
he's my little daddy.
one of your great your mentors. That's wonderful.
I have a great daddy and a small
one as well. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Liviu, for spending some time just helping to introduce this whole topic of how the Christian faith and the arts can really come together and be hugely influential and fruitful. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.